प्रत्यावहै। ओम शांति शांति।
कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन् इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा मिथ्याचारः उच्यते। यस्येन्द्रियाणि मनसा नियम्यारभतेऽर्जुन कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगम् अप्रकृष्ट विशिष्यते। नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वं कर्म ज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः शरीरयात्रापि च ते न प्रसिद्ध्येत कर्मणः। यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धनः। तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गसमाचर। सह यज्ञा प्रजा सृष्टा पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः अनेन प्रसविष्यत्वम् एष वोत्तिष्ठ कामधु। देवान् भावयतानेन ते देवा भावयन्तु वः। परस्परं भावयन्तः श्रेयः परमवाप्स्यथ। इष्टान् भोगान् हि वो देवाः दास्यन्ते यज्ञभाविताः। तैर्दत्तानः प्रदायैभ्यः यो भुङ्क्ते तेन एव सः। यज्ञशिष्टाशिनः सन्तः मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषैः। भुञ्जते ते स्वकं पापाः ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणात्। अन्नात् भवन्ति भूतानि पर्जन्यादन्नसम्भवः। यज्ञात् भवति पर्जन्यः यज्ञः कर्मसमुद्भवः। कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं सिद्धि ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवम्। तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्।
Verse number 10. The Creator, having in the beginning created mankind with yajna, said, by this shall you propagate. Let this be the milch cow of your desired objects. By this shall you prosper. By this shall you prosper means by yajna you will, by performing yajna you prosper. For yajna is the Kamadhenu. Kamadhenu is the mythological cow. Whatever you ask for, it gives. It's a cow. Yajna activities are compared to this. Yajna activities are compared to this cow because all desires are satisfied by yajna. By the satisfaction of the desires, there is a mental peace. So satisfaction of the desires, please understand it as not fulfillment. Satisfying the desires means the very concept behind yajna way of fulfilling the desires. Don't forget that. Varam we can't keep discussing yajna only. So satisfying the desires is through the way of yajna, through the path of yajna. And they give mental peace. How yajna activities gives mental, how yajna activities satisfies the desires, fulfills the desires. Yajna activities are those which makes you deserve. We have heard this any number of times. Deserve, never desire. You get what you deserve, not what you desire. Deserve, never desire is the law of karma, is the law of action. Or whatever you deserve is what? Whatever you deserve is what will stick to you. What makes you to deserve anything? Yajna activities. How do you deserve anything? By performing yajna activities, you deserve. And that deserving part when it comes, there is a satisfaction, there is a peace, there is a satisfaction. In that sense, he says it is Kamadhenu, number one. Number two, I'll explain what is this deserving, how yajna activities makes you to deserve. I'll explain. Second thing is the mental peace is because of the object seeking you. When you seek the object, it is mental agitations. When the object seeks you, it is mental peace. Again I repeat. When the objects seek you, that is the state of mental peace. When you are seeking the objects, that's the state of mental agitation. So, first thing about yajna, how it is the Kamadhenu, is deserve, never desire. In fact, in the local language, they say no, ottradhu dhaan ottum. That's what deserving means. That's what deserving means. You can be in the midst of everything, and if you don't deserve anything, nothing will be of any enjoyment to you. You can be in the middle of everything, and if you don't deserve it, nothing will be of any enjoyment to you. Meaning you don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. Opposite of that is deserving. And how do you deserve anything? By yajna karma. That's why he says, deserve, never desire. Second aspect of it is, the object seeking you is joyful, is peace, is blissful, versus you seeking the object. When you are seeking it, you are desiring. When they are seeking you, you deserve it. You have to understand it. When you are after something, you are seeking it. When you deserve it, any part of the world, even if you go and hide yourself in the cave, Ramatirtha says it will come to you. You don't have to seek anything. He says, people do not know the principle of how to get their desires fulfilled. Sacrifice is the way to get the desires fulfilled. That's what he is saying, yajna karma. The way to get the desires fulfilled is perform sacrifice. And if you perform yajna karma, sacrifice, it seeks you. Desiring is repulsion. Deserving is attraction. When you deserve something, you attract. When you desire something, you repel. That's why desires are always repulsing. Deserving is always attracting. Deserving means you attract. Desire means you repel. Kamadhenu is that cow where you don't have to do anything. Literally there is no cow like that. You go and wish for anything, that cow gives. Vasishtha had this, you know the story, no? Yeah, Vasishtha had this cow. And the king went to which king went? To Vasishtha. Kaushika, the king, went to Vasishtha. Vasishtha said he lost his way. He went for hunting and he lost his way. And he found Vasishtha's ashram in the middle of the forest. And he went, the tradition is when you are passing an ashram, the king must go and pay the respect. So he kept all the group, everything far away. He said, I will go, pay my respect and come. Kaushika goes. And Vishwam and Vasishtha said, Saptu pongo. Yeah, that's all. Eat and go. Because where will you get food in the forest? Eat and go. But Kaushika said, see, Appo he was not a Vishwamitra, he is a very ordinary, he is a king, Kaushika. And Kaushika said, thank you for your generosity, but how can you feed? For I am not the only person. There are 600 people with me in the middle of the forest. Again, if 600 people suddenly veetla undu erangna, it's a problem, no? With all the facilities and amenities. Imagine in those days, suddenly one fellow itself is a problem. Boof, you have to light the stove for 3 hours. Where to cook? Vasishtha said, don't worry, bring everyone. I will attend to everyone. They all came. Kaushika was curious how this man is going to feed. So he called Kamadhenu and said, guests are here, attend to them. And they were well fed, well attended, well taken care of. Next day, when he was leaving, Kaushika went to Vasishtha and said, give me that cow. Give me that cow. For you are unnecessarily wasting a useful resource. That's a conversation between Kaushika and Vasishtha. He said, unnecessarily you are keeping a useful resource like Kamadhenu in the middle of the forest, not useful for anyone. Give that to me. And genuinely he was not a very selfish, and give it to me, it will be of use to the country. In compensation, to offset that, I will give you 1,000 cows. I will give you 1,000 cows. Vasishtha said, no, this is a different cow, that's a different, those thousands are different, this is different. So don't try all this, you go your way, I will continue to be with the cow here. Kaushika asked, what makes this cow special? Vasishtha says, Yajna. Take away Yajna, this is another ordinary cow, Kaushika, you don't understand that. You take the cow with you, it will become a very ordinary cow. It will not give anything. As long as it is here with me means performing Yajna, it has its powers. You take it away, it becomes another ordinary cow. And why do you want to take this cow? You have thousands of cows. No, out of the 1,000, create one more Kamadhenu. Do Yajna. Kaushika thought Vasishtha is avoiding. He doesn't want to give the cow. Adukosam Summa he is giving some. And most only Samalikirar. He doesn't want to give the cow. Therefore he is just giving some lame excuses. Forcefully I will take the cow. Vasishtha said, don't try that. Or you don't know the power of Yajna. Don't try that. I am not going into the whole story. Yeah, and the whole story arancha aduve 9 mani aitam. The power of Kamadhenu, Vasishtha says, is because of Yajna. Take away Yajna, this is another ordinary cow. And this Kamadhenu came from Milky Ocean. When they were churning the Milky Ocean, so many wonderful things came. Out of that one is Kamadhenu. They started churning the Milky Ocean for Amrita. And what they got first? Amrita came at the end only. Amrita didn't come first. When they started churning the Milky Ocean, the first thing that came out is deadly poison, not ordinary, deadly poison. And it is consuming the whole world. And nobody knew what to do with this poison. Who will take care of that poison? They said, go to Shiva. Shiva represents tapas. That's where you always find Shiva in two forms. With eyes closed, meaning he is the man of renunciation doing tapas, or Nataraja, the dance of liberation. Shiva represents tapas. So who can handle this poison? Who can handle what is the poison? Selfishness and self-centeredness is the poison. It will consume you sitting inside of you. If you do tapas, the poison will not harm you. That's the meaning. That's very symbolic. So what they did, they all went to Shiva and said, please consume the poison. And he also, he took the whole poison in maybe in the mari cup vechirundanga. He just drank the whole poison. And nothing happened to him. You follow? When you start doing yajna, when you start living a life of service and sacrifice, various ways and means of fulfillment of desires keeps coming. For everything the man keeps saying, no, 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 till he attains liberation. till he attains moksha. Though moksha is the ultimate goal, though moksha is the real goal, Arjuna is not in a position to work for moksha. He is not in a position to even conceive of something called liberation. So, he is saying at least start performing yajna. Start performing yajna karma. And what is yajna? Capacity to sacrifice the self-centeredness for a higher cause. That is yajna. Again, yajna is the capacity to sacrifice the self-centeredness for a higher cause. What is a higher cause? Carefully follow. Everyone has a circle of identification. Everyone has a circle of identification. What is higher cause? The moment you have a circle of identification, that circle is the selfishness, self-centeredness. Anything outside that circle is higher. So, working, sacrificing the interest for this, sacrificing that selfishness within that circle for a higher cause is what is known as yajna. You follow? Again I repeat. Everyone has a circle of identification, whatever be that circle is. The moment you draw a circle, anything inside that circle is self-centeredness. So, what is higher? Anything outside that circle. Anything outside that circle. Wise way is to not to draw a circle at all. So, you don't have to worry about this inside outside. Simply serve, that's all. The wise way is not to draw a circle of identification at all. But that is very far-fetched. That's very high. In the beginning, at where you are now, there is a circle. As you are now, where you are now, there is a circle. And what is higher? Anything outside that circle. Anything inside that circle is not higher. For that becomes your selfishness and self-centeredness. What is yajna karma? Sacrificing that self-centeredness for a higher cause. Number one. Number two, sacrifice is possible only for a human being. Other creatures can't sacrifice. When the lion is chasing, one beast cannot stand out and say, for today eat me and leave the herd behind. Eat me. No animal can do that. All will run. Whoever loses. That's all. And the rest of the herd continues as though nothing happened. No other animal can perform sacrifice. Only a human being can sacrifice. Even in a temple, animals don't perform sacrifice. They are still animal only. You follow? Human beings alone enjoy this rare gift, the gift of sacrifice. Everyone sacrifices. It's not that no one sacrifices, but that sacrifice is always restricted to a circle. Within that circle, they are very noble, they are very sacrificial. That's where whenever they talk about this yajna sacrifice, everyone goes back thinking, I have already done enough sacrifices, or I am doing sacrifice. It's not that it's not sacrifice. In the true sense of the term, it's not sacrifice. In the true sense of the term, it's not sacrifice. For if we have sacrificed in the true sense of the term, what is the proof of it? You will deserve. If you have sacrificed in the true sense of the term, you will deserve. Today, it's only desiring. It's only desiring. See, even moksha has to be deserved. Summa wishful thinking, liberation, self-realization, and summa wishful thinking. Nothing will happen out of that. For even moksha, liberation has to deserve. And how do you deserve anything? Sacrifice. By this, you propagate. You propagate, in the word propagate here is not propagation. Here what it means is you become prosperous. This will bring prosperity to you. Since Arjuna knows the entire story behind the Kamadhenu, Arjuna is aware of that entire story. Today we don't know the story so much. Since Arjuna is aware of that story, when Krishna said, let this be the Kamadhenu, straight away Arjuna was able to, Abdina, I will do yajna and stand in front of Kamadhenu and ask, I want to win this battle, na? Tadastu, granted. You will win the. On a practical plane, this is from the philosophical angle. On a practical plane, yajna activities sheds the lethargy away. The lethargy goes away, dynamism comes in. Now this is what we are more concerned with, this is what we are more interested in. Even though that is it needs that much contemplation, reflection to understand that. On a practical plane, yajna karma, first thing it does is, it sheds the lethargy away. When lethargy is gone, when tamas is gone, you become productive. You become dynamic, you become productive. Yajna karma, the direct first benefit of yajna karma is lethargy is driven away. When lethargy is driven away, what happens? There is how do you say that lethargy is gone? How do you say that tamas is gone? You become more dynamic. You become more dynamic. You become more prosperous. Where there is dynamism, there is prosperity. Where there is a scope for prosperity, you become peaceful. Carefully follow the connection. Wherever there is a scope for prosperity, there is mental peace. In poverty, in inaction, in poverty, there is no scope for prosperity, there is no peace. Imagine a person who has all the potential, who has all the capacity, choosing a life of service and sacrifice. That person deserves mental peace. Are you able to follow? What is the connection between prosperity and peace? It's not the prosperity that gives the peace. The access to abundance, the recognition of abundance. See, what is prosperity? Prosperity means abundance. You follow? Prosperity means, what is poverty? Whatsoever you have is not enough. That's all poverty is. How much ever you have, you still believe you don't have anything. That is poverty. What is prosperity? What is prosperity? Abundance. Prosperity is recognizing abundance. Recognizing the abundance is the peace. If the physical property, if the material prosperity or the material plane can give mental peace, that's what he gives the introduction to Vedanta, no? The Western world is prosperous, dynamic, but there is no peace. Therefore, mental peace is not in direct connection to the material prosperity. It is in two things. One is the removal of lethargy. Second is proximity to abundance. Availability of abundance. To put it very simply, think about this difference. There is a difference between poverty and simplicity. There is a difference between poverty and simplicity. Both looks the same from outside. You see a man, you will never know whether that both looks the same from outside. Poverty and simplicity. But one is agitations, another is peace. What is the difference? Poverty is incapacitated. Lethargy. Poverty is when you are incapacitated, when you are lethargic, you remain poor. That's why first thing they say is get up and act. Poverty ought not to be worshipped. Poverty is something that has to be abhorred. For poverty implies lethargy, tamas, inaction. That's what poverty is all about. That's why there is nothing to be glorifying about. If someone is in poverty, you know that man is not doing any action. The moment he starts acting, the first peace comes. First layer of peace comes through the moment he starts acting. Yeah. That's what they show in the movies, no? The hero is from a very rich family. First 15 minutes he is a spoiled brat, and then no worth he knows. If the king loses the kingship, he will turn into a beggar. You know that, no? If the king were to lose the kingship, he will turn into a beggar. For he can't do plumbing to earn a living. He can't do anything. He will straight away become a beggar. So in the movies they show that scene. That fellow, the hero is a spoiled brat. 15 minutes later, he works hard, labor, and straight away what he will do? What he will do? Philosophy தான் பார்க்கலன்னா movies ஆவது பார்க்கறோம்ல. What he will do? Straight away what that fellow will do? He will not run a company. He will not be the CEO of a company. What he will do? மூட்டை தூக்குவான். Correct. He will start laboring, and he will get 10 rupees. What a bliss it gives. It gives bliss. So what is the bliss there? Action, prosperity, peace. Follow the sequence. Action, prosperity, peace. What is the peace there? The peace is not your own. Later on you bring in the doership and you will lose it. That's later. Immediately there is a peace. What is the peace? The peace is because of the first peace that a human being start experiencing is when he gets into action. When he starts getting into action. Lethargy, yajna karma. First thing that it does is sheds the lethargy away. Second thing it does is Okay, lethargy is done away with. Prosperity comes. Along with it, what comes? I am the doer. First there is a peace, but then immediately that I am the doer comes and spoils it. So yajna karma says, say I am not the sacrifice. First is you sacrifice the lethargy. That is tamas. Get into action. The moment you start acting, there is prosperity. Along with prosperity, there is some peace. Okay, but then quickly that peace goes away. Even though it's there, it's lost. It's lost very soon. Why? The doership comes and takes over. So what do you sacrifice now? Doership. You sacrifice the doership. You sacrifice the tamas, the lethargy. You sacrifice the doership. That's Kamadhenu. When you know how to do these two, whatsoever you desire for, you will get. And the paradox is this. Once you have reached this practice, you will never desire anything. That's the paradox of it. You will not want anything because you know that fulfillment has been found already. Fulfillment has come in the doing. Fulfillment is found in sacrificing the doership. When both have given fulfillment, no acquisition can add to the fulfillment. This is how yajna karma takes you to the higher levels of living, ultimately to moksha, liberation. Seriya? Dramatically he is presenting Creator saying, by this you will prosper. By this yajna you will prosper. You follow? All revolves around this concept. Deserve, never desire. He keeps on saying, you get what you deserve, not what you desire. You get what you deserve, not what you desire. And how do you deserve anything? By action. You deserve anything by action. What kind of action? The sacrificial attitude into the action. We have seen it enough. Yajna is not a special type of action. Yajna is the attitude that you bring in. Correct. Existing action. Yajna, otherwise you want to start a new action. Yajna is not a new type of action. Yajna is the change of attitude into the existing action. What is the change of attitude? What is the change of attitude? The change of attitude, yajna. I have said it any number of times. Not mine. Na mama. Yajna karma simply means not mine, not mine, not mine. And impossible to say not mine, because the doership will convince you that it's yours. Maybe mechanically to impress others you might say not mine. Help I have got all these. Maybe to impress there can be a false modesty outside. Maybe to impress another. But in the genuine, in the deepest core, it's very difficult to conceive that it's not mine. Why? The sense of doership. So yajna karma is action minus the doership. Take away the doership, action will come to action will come to a halt. Action will stop. Even on a very, very ordinary plane, if you have to get an action done, you call someone and say, this has to be done. 100 பேர் இருக்கிறாங்க பண்றதுக்கு ரெடியா. But I am giving you a opportunity to serve. Do it na. 100 பேர் இருக்காங்கல்ல, keep them. Opposite of that, there is a task to be done, and only you can do that, and I am dependent only on you. I am banking only on you. Na, it gets up. The doership is boosted there. That you are the doer. The moment it is established that you are the doer, what follows naturally? The fruit is yours. Very difficult to let go of the fruit, because it is so convincing that you are the doer. So Yajna Karma says fruit alone will come later. As you are doing, understand that. As you are doing, understand you are not the doer. But I am only doing. No, sir. How can you say I am not the? You are not doing, you are not doing, you are not doing. I am only. How can you say you are not the doer? Yajna Karma says the attitude of not mine. In the ritual Yajna, Na Mama is said twice. When they do, even today the Brahmins, when they do the ritual, they do this Na Mama twice. One is when the Ahuti is poured. Another is when the Dakshina is given. The fruit. The doing ought to be done with Na Mama. Second time they say Na Mama is when they offer the Dakshina. And wonderful is that ritual. The receiver is sitting and the giver is standing. Actually it should be the reverse, no? The giver should sit and the receiver should stand. The Yajna ritual is ulta it is. The giver is pleading, take. And the man says, Na Mama. Say Na Mama and give. Then I will take. Otherwise it will not be touched. He says, Swami used to give this example, so many times. Every time want to put up a building, people will come and say, write the pair podungo. Put my name or put the father's name or grandfather's name. Na Mama. The moment the mindness comes into the giving, that will not be taken. The wise man will not take it. Why? Because there is dosha in it. The dosha of mindness. That's why he says no sponsored by, no nothing given by, so on so. All that is not. Some of the temples you can go and see, no? One tublet that fellow will donate, and his entire family history will be in the tublet, no? Donated by so and so date. Where? In the patti tublet they write everything. Mama, there is dosha. Anything that has dosha in it, the wise man will not touch. What is the dosha in it? Given with that? Given to promote the mindness. You give in order to get rid of the mindness. Yajna Karma says you give in order to get rid of mindness. And this ego is so cunning, it will know how to It will know how to use yajna karma to promote its existence. So he says second time. They say na mama, and then you have to pour the water, wash your hands off, then only that man will. Today no one does all that. I'm talking about the yajna ritual. And why they have so much of value for this yajna? Why they have so much of regard? Why they have so much of respect for this yajna karma? Later on, the 18th chapter, he is going to say, stop everything else, but don't stop yajna, he says. Yajna dana tapas don't. Starts now, and right at the 18th chapter also, he continues into the discussion of yajna by saying, stop all other activities, but don't stop yajna activities. Don't stop yajna activities. And what is yajna activities? Action minus the doership. Action minus the doership. By this you propagate. By acting like this, you will become prosperous. What is prosperity? Understand prosperity not as quantum. Understand prosperity as access to abundance. You know it's there, that's all. Poverty is, what is poverty? Nothing is there. That's poverty. So much is there for you know, but nothing is our provision. The man was saying, sir, innikla that family told 4 months back. Sir, innikla Madrasla, for decent life if you have to live, how much you need, sir? I said, I don't know how much. You tell me how much you need. For decent life, you need minimum 2 lakhs, sir. I said, Varshatka? I know what you are saying. Annual or monthly? Month. Now, it's not about 2 lakhs or 20 lakhs or 200 crores. It is not the prosperity is not access to the quantum. Prosperity is the mental state of experiencing abundance. Sudama was experiencing abundance even though he wasn't having anything. What will give you the proximity to abundance? Yajna karma. In that sense, he says, perform yajna. By this you propagate. When you work with the spirit of yajna, prosperity will be showered on you. It's a law, he says. He says it's a law. Prosperity will be showered on you. What is the showering of prosperity? Don't think your bank balance will increase. Otherwise, prosperity, okay, all the bank balance will go on increasing. That is not prosperity. Or you have enough bank balance, but you don't experience any richness. You don't experience any power, any prosperity. What is prosperity? Prosperity is experiencing abundance. The moment you experience abundance, you can joyfully, blissfully give, share. Giving can happen only when there is abundance. You have to experience abundance. You may have 100 rupees and experience abundance and give that away. You may have 100 crores and not experience abundance at all. You follow what I am saying? What is prosperity? Prosperity is experiencing abundance. Number 2, when you experience abundance, you can blissfully, joyfully share, give. Selfishness makes you to believe life is limited resources. There are two attitudes about life you can have. One attitude is it's one of limited resources. Another attitude about life is it's one of abundance. Two attitudes you can have about life. One is it's full of limited resources. The moment you see life has limited resources, what you have to do? Grab, hoard. For it is very limited. Early bird catches the best worm. Not ordinary worm. It only catches the best. Last learner you will get only the. You go to market at 4 o'clock, you will get the best. You go to market at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, you get the. So early bird catches the. Always remember, two attitudes you can have about life. One is an attitude of life is limited resources. Another attitude can be it is one of abundance. The moment you understand life as abundance, first thing that goes out, the moment you understand life as abundance, the first thing that goes out is hoarding. You will never want to hoard, for you know that abundance. You follow? What brings you that conviction into abundance? The conviction into abundance comes because you have decided that till the last breath of your life you will be in action. And if you act, you will get. What is the need to hoard? You follow? Are you able to follow? One attitude towards life can be, life is one of limited resources. Another attitude you can have about life is one of abundance. Isavasya invocatory prayer says that Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Purnam. It goes on saying Purnam means it's an abundance. What are you fearing? Because of you understanding that, you can understand the first verse. Tena tyaktena munjita magrada kasya siddhanam. Otherwise, opposite of that is, life is limited resources. Grab it as much as you can. After grabbing, you have to protect it. Enough predators are there competing for the same thing. No. So you have to, first you have to hoard, you have to protect. After hoarding and after protecting, you need to go and tell that man, give. What he can give? He can't give. You follow? That's where acquisition, hoarding, parting is almost impossible, because it is seen as limited. Therefore keep it. The moment you get into the yajna karma mode, the moment you get on to life with the attitude of yajna karma, you know what will happen. There is no need to fear a loss. There is no need to fear a loss, for you know that if it is given away, the next set of action is going to bring it back. So what are you worried about? What are you scared about? That's what he says. By this you propagate. both material and spiritual benefits will be showered on you, and it is the law, he is saying. What is the law? How do you understand it as a law? He is only saying it is the law. What is the law? How do you understand it? First, the lethargy. That's what I am trying to explain in very many ways. The first thing is the lethargy goes. The doing action itself is a kind of fulfillment. Doing an action itself is a kind of fulfillment. After a while, the doership comes and spoils it. So continue with the same attitude of action minus the doership. What you will start experiencing? Material prosperity. What does material prosperity means? You should understand prosperity first. Very difficult is to understand what is poverty and what is prosperity. What is prosperity? Prosperity is access to abundance. Access to abundance. Poverty is limited resources. Limited resources. See that person is saying, for a decent life you need 2 lakhs. The maid, I have given this example. The maid working at 3 years back it happened. I have given this example before. I am giving this example again. The maid working, she was working in my house. She met with an accident, fractured. Doctor said 3 months you can't do any work. So 3 months no work, now what to do? So she came and said, sir, where yaaradu vechikradinga, adu varaikum I will send my sister, so that once I come back I will start work. So the sister came, she was doing the work, Diwali time. So clothes was given to them. The lady who is telling me, avungalukku vana sir, they are rich. Her sister who came to work for 3 months, she is saying don't give new clothes to her, for she is rich. My concept of richness, I think of Bill Gates. Yeah, richness now, I don't think rich means, see, how do I think Sudama can be rich? If someone says very rich man, I always think maybe Bill Gates, maybe Ambani. I said, why will they come and work? Rich na எனக்கு புரியலையே சார். அவங்க மாச வாடகை 1500 கொடுக்குறாங்க சார். She saying they are able to afford monthly rent 1500 rupees. She is rich. What is prosperity and what is prosperity and what is poverty? Access to abundance. You have to experience abundance. And what will make you experience abundance? Doing action with the yajna attitude. So first thing is prosperity. First thing that comes is prosperity. The second thing that comes is the spiritual benefit. That's a material benefit. What is the material benefit? The moment you have access to prosperity, the moment you have access to abundance, what goes out? The fear goes out. All the unnecessary things about life goes out. That's living a life of heaven. That's living a life of Brahma Loka. You live that life of Brahma Loka here only. That is material benefit. But material benefit alone is not the aim here. That's not the purpose here. Why material benefit alone is not the aim and purpose? It's limited. You will exhaust it and come back to, you will exhaust that and you will come back to square one. Coming back to square one, like snake and ladder game, Madri. No, the snake and ladder game, no, they play. Small ladders are there, big ladders are there. But what is the longest in that? Snake is the longest. Actually speaking, ladder should be the For all, see that game. See, 98 length, it will bring you down to 1 straight away. The longest ladder, the highest ladder also will take you only 10 steps. The snake brings you and start all over again. So material, only focusing on material benefit is something like focusing on the small ladder and eventually getting caught by the snake. There you will come down. And how you wish to escape the snake. But the snake catches you. What is the spiritual benefit? What is the spiritual benefit? The spiritual benefit is the seed for action itself is gone. The vasanas. The root of action, which is ignorance, vasanas, that itself is gone. So, there is prosperity, happiness. Now, there is prosperity, happiness, not prosperity, happiness. There is permanent liberation. Yajna karma satisfies the needs of the man in that way. It satisfies the material needs and it satisfies the spiritual needs. All in one package. What is that? Yajna karma. You do that. That's what he says in the commentary. That is the law. That is the law. What is the law? The prosperity and the material benefit and the spiritual benefit. சரியா? 11 पढ़ी.
देवान् भावयतानेन ते देवा भावयन्तु वः परस्परं भावयन्तः श्रेयः परमवाप्यः. देवान् भावयतानेन ते देवा भावयन्तु वः परस्परं भावयन्तः श्रेयः परमवाप्यः.
Nourish the gods with this, and may those gods nourish you. Nourishing one another, you shall attain the supreme good. He is continuing with the benefits of what are the benefits of yajna karma? What is that? Nourishing one another, parasparam. Sanda potudanga, they say no, don't fight with each other, parasparam. You be nourishing one another. What is nourishing one another? You satisfy the gods satisfy you. Because in yajna karma, the belief is when you do yajna, the gods are satisfied, and when gods are satisfied, they bless you in return. Therefore, you please the gods please you. Both pleasing each other, you shall attain the supreme good. Nourish the gods with this. Nourish the gods with this. When the group get together collectively and working for a higher cause, that is nourishing that God of higher cause. In turn, that higher cause will bless you with bounty. Are you able to follow? The group get together and work for a higher cause, and that higher cause blesses you back with bounty. That's what he says. You nourish the gods, God nourish you. Previous verse, in the verse konja nalla irukku sir. At least idilayavadu something is going to come back in return. So I nourish the gods, God will bless us. Some transaction is as in previous verse romba one sided ave. It was looking too one sided, very difficult. This is much acceptable. acceptable. Idam or acceptable. Yeah, correct. It is acceptable. The mood is toned down from Prajapati to the ultimate. He tones it down and saying, nourish each other and you shall attain supreme good. If you are wise, you will catch one thing in this verse. What? In nourishing one another, he is segregating himself from that. When he is segregating himself from that, it means it is lower, limited. You shall proud. You all will be happy. Abdina, what does it mean? I am not part of it. If he says I am not part of it, it means there is something lower in it. For Krishna will never want to be a part of it which has even a trace of something lower. What is the trace of something lower? The gods in plural is worldly goals. Gods in plural means worldly goals. Anything of the world. Anything of the world, he is not interested. Anything from the world, he is not interested. But very difficult for the vast majority to come to that height straight away. Therefore, he tones it down and says, you help each other. You help each other. In the process of helping each other, remember yajna. He is not compromising there. Carefully follow. He is saying first, help each other. But don't get lost in helping each other. While you are helping one another, remember yajna. For the help comes through, ultimate benefit always comes through yajna only. You follow? You know that story, no? For everything yajna, one story is there. If you remember the story, you can connect. You remember the story of Krishna lifting that mountain? He lifted the mountain, no? A small boy Krishna lifted the mountain with his little finger. Full away. Hercules Mother, he is not holding that man is holding the whole planet on his. No, Krishna lifted the Govardhana mountain with his little finger. The gods arrogated the yajna to themselves. The gods started arrogating the yajna to themselves. Krishna said, don't worship those gods anymore. Indra got angry and he sent rains. Yeah. And the whole country is getting flooded and people are dying, and everyone came to Krishna and said, unnecessary unga pecha ketadu. So nicely you spoke and we got carried away by your talk. And see, today we are in trouble. What is the trouble? Indra is angry and he is deluging us. Oh, idam problem. Come, I will protect you. He lifted the mountain and all took shelter under that. That's the story. Yajna. He started breaking the pattern of yajna right from the childhood. What is it? Nourishing one another is not nourishing in the sense of you serve me, I serve you. It's not in that sense. Nourishing one another because you are not able to perform yajna in the ultimate sense. So, nourish one another remembering Yajna, which will purify you so that one day you will come to that point of performing Yajna karma almost one-sided. Not almost one-sided. Yajna karma is always one-sided. The beauty of life is life becomes beautiful only when it is one-sided. The moment you turn back and say what is going to come from the other na, it's lost. Life is wonderful, happy life, blissful life, as long as you know how to keep it one-sided. That's a very high state. So he says, tone it down to the level of devas. Devas means higher goals, higher ideals, but pertaining to the world only. Again there is nothing the highest in it. Follow? Nourish one another, you shall attain the supreme good. Even functioning in this way also, you can attain the supreme good. And what is supreme good? That we know already. Supreme good means? What is supreme good? Liberation. Supreme good is liberation. Liberation is always in connection to bondage. The thirst for liberation is understood to the extent of you experiencing suffocation from bondage. You know, the Upanishad gives this example. What is bondage and freedom? There is an ox. Okay. If you have lived in the villages, you will understand this example. Or if you have gone to the villages and seen it, you will understand. The farmer gets up in the morning, takes the produce to the market. By 9 o'clock, it's all sold. And he still has work to do. And what he does, he turns the bullock cart in the direction of the house. And gives it a whip. It will go all by itself and park in the house. On the way, it will stop in front of the tea shop for 15 minutes. Why? Because the owner will drink tea there for 15 minutes. No ox is drinking tea. And you can't tell the ox, the master is not there. No. Why can't you escape? The ox will turn back and say, what are you talking? I am free, no? What is freedom? It doesn't even know that it is bound. The ox is tied to the mill, goes round and round and round. The Upanishad says, the freedom of the ox is determined by the length of the rope, it says. If the rope is of 2 meters, the ox can walk around for 2 meters. That walking around for 2 meters makes it to believe that it's free. If the rope is 50 meters long, andalo is free. But can't conceive that freedom is absence of rope. Removal of rope is the freedom, not the length of the rope. That's bondage. And everyone has that invisible rope, makes every human being goes round and round, like the ox goes round the mill itself. Mill na check. Mill na. In those days it goes round and round and round. Never it can conceive that. It says, can't you see me acting? Can't you see me walking around? Can't you see me doing everything? But what it has missed completely, its movement is decided by length of the rope. Remember this bullock cart. It will not. You ask that bullock cart owner, what will you do? That man will say, sir, correct? It will go to. See, you start the car here and ask the car to go to house all by itself. It will not know how to go. No, you have to. That bullock, it will go all by. Who has seen that? Has anyone seen it or experienced it? Correct. I know. Correct. It will go all by itself. Miles and miles it will walk. And when it is walking, it thinks it's doing it. No, it's free. It's not. Is the ox free? The ox is not free. The bullock is not free. For the freedom is determined by the length of the rope. In the case of an ox and bullock, we are able to see the rope, the bondage. In the case of a human being, that rope is invisible. That's why Jnana Chakshu is needed, the eye of wisdom. The third eye is required to see that invisible. Oh, if it is visible, where is the problem? Problem is it's not visible. That's what Janaka told. That's what Janaka told Sukha. You don't see a rope above your head, Sukha. I know that. He was sitting on the way that he was living life. Sukha thought Janaka doesn't know what renunciation is. Janaka said, okay, anyway you are not fit. Anyway you are not fit enough to understand what renunciation is. Fourth munadi, sit on my throne for a while and go. He went and sat on his throne, jumped out in fear. Saying, what kind of a man are you? How can you make me sit on the throne? Janaka said, what happened? Above the throne, there is a sword. Above the throne, there is a sword hanging by that silken thread. Any time it will snap. And if it snaps now, what happens? Kabala Mokshanda. Yeah, it straight goes. And then Sukha asked Janaka, my God, were you enjoying all this with the full knowledge that there is the sword above your head? Janaka said, forget about my sword, Sukha. There is a sword above your head. Worry about that. For I have handled it. Well, I don't have any use on that. You follow? Liberation. To be thirstful for liberation is to experience the suffocation of bondage. Is to experience the suffocation of bondage. What is the starting point of experiencing the suffocation? You can't straight away say bondage, liberate. You can say a million times, but nothing will thing will happen. They found another method. What is another method? They are in lethargy. Get them into action first. To talk to the masses in lethargy about moksha has no meaning. So get them into action. Yajna. The moment they are into action, action is the fertile ground for receiving knowledge. Then the knowledge will seep in. You will attain moksha. So those who are interested in moksha straight away, yajna karma is the tool. Even those who are not interested in moksha straight away, even for them, there is no separate tool for them. Even for them, method is the same. What is it? Guide them into acting for a cause. Remember, not action. Don't say that. For everyone is acting. Inaction is impossible. And yet they keep on saying, you have to act, you have to act, you have to act. Means the individual has to be persuaded, has to be guided into action for a higher cause first. That's what he says. Nourish the gods and the gods nourishes you. In that environment, in that mental makeup, absorption of knowledge becomes possible. Then you attain moksha. So straight away to tell them, attain for, aspire for moksha, aspire for liberation, has no meaning. For they don't experience the suffocation. And if you have to experience the suffocation, first thing is you ought to get into action for a higher cause. Then only you will experience the suffocation. Summa action, you will go back saying, I am already acting. Only when you start acting for a higher cause, you know the bondage. What is the bondage? How much your own mind will tell you it will not work. How much everyone around you will convince you. What? Don't? இதெல்லாம் ஏதோ கிளாஸ்க்கு போனோமா 4 ஸ்டோரி கேட்டுட்டு forget. Don't try to practice all these. There is a challenge inside of you. There is a challenge outside of you. You start experiencing bondage, the suffocation of bondage. You follow? Otherwise, straight away to say, you are bound by vasanas, you are bound by desires, you are bound by this, you are bound by that. You can give a very good lecture. And now we are all giving very good. Listening, others may get liberated. That's not right. Listening, others can still get liberated. You follow? So, first thing is action. What is action means? Don't think from inaction to action. For inaction is impossible. So, action means persuading oneself into acting for a higher cause. You will start experiencing suffocation then. What is the suffocation? You want to work for a higher cause, your own personality is not cooperating. Not only your own personality is cooperating, nothing around you is also cooperating. Same thing they also would have gone through. What conviction they should have had, what effort they would have done to battle through all this and come to that point where that man can say, I am free now. You follow? Thus, you attain liberation, the highest. For the advanced seekers also, yajna karma is the tool. Even for the starters, yajna karma is the tool. Meaning, yajna is the central point. Yajna is the central point. Working with dedication towards the higher goal, you will reach the ultimate goal. Straight away you can attain moksha, or you can start experiencing the suffocation by which you can aspire for liberation. Either way, what works, either way, what will help you, yajna karma is the tool. Nourish the gods and gods nourish you. Parasparam bhavayantaha. Nourishing one another. Yeah. Don't fight with gods. At least, parasparam. Meaning, nourishing each another, nourishing one another, you shall attain the supreme good.
From Rameshwaram.
Oh, okay.
Late train.
ஒரே நிமிஷம் டவுன்
Thank you.